The accident should have killed me. That was the first thought I had when consciousness returned. Not relief, not confusion, but certainty. The transport shuttle had been spiraling out of control, alarms screaming, hull tearing itself apart as we entered the upper atmosphere of Virex Station. I remembered the moment of impact, the sensation of weightlessness followed by crushing force, and then nothing. So when I opened my eyes and saw soft blue light instead of fire, my brain rejected it. I tried to move. My arms felt heavy, unresponsive. Tubes ran into my chest and neck, feeding warm pulses of something that hummed faintly through my veins. "You're awake earlier than projected," a calm voice said. I turned my head. She stood beside the med pod, tall and slender, her skin a pale lavender hue that shimmered faintly under the lights. Her eyes, too dominant, too smaller beneath, watched me carefully. She wore the insignia of a coalition medical officer, an alien nurse. "Easy," she said gently. "Your neural pathways are still stabilizing." "My shuttle," I croaked. "The crash was severe," she replied. "Survival probability, less than 3%. I swallowed. "Then why am I alive?" She paused for just a fraction too long. "Because," she said carefully, "your presence remains necessary." Her name was Saristel. At least, that was how the translator rendered it. She was a member of the Kavari, an ancient species known for medical mastery and emotional restraint. They were healers, not warriors. Observers, not participants. Saris tended to me over the following days. She adjusted my treatment, monitored my vitals, and spoke in a soothing, precise manner that made it easy to trust her. Too easy. "You should not have survived with your injuries," she admitted during one checkup. "Multiple organ failures. Severe neural trauma." "But I did," I said. "Yes." Her lower eyes blinked independently, a Kavari sign of unease. I noticed other things, too. Security personnel passed my room more often than necessary. Coalition officials reviewed my file repeatedly. And Saris never left me unattended, not even during rest cycles. "Am I a prisoner?" I asked her once. She hesitated. "No." That wasn't an answer. "You are a contingency," she finally said. That word lodged in my chest like a splinter. Before the crash, I was no one important. My name is Aaron Cade. Human. Systems engineer assigned to a coalition infrastructure audit. Routine work. Mind-numbingly dull. I wasn't a diplomat. I wasn't military. I didn't carry classified intel. So when a coalition inquisitor arrived outside my room 3 days later, something inside me went cold. "The crash," the inquisitor said, his insectoid mandibles clicking softly. "Do you remember anything unusual beforehand?" "Just a systems failure," I replied. Nav went dark. Controls locked. Saris stood quietly beside him, hands folded. "And after?" he asked. "Nothing. Until I woke up here." The inquisitor studied me for a long moment. "You were not on the approved casualty list." I frowned. I wasn't supposed to survive. "No," he agreed. "You weren't supposed to board that shuttle at all." After he left, I turned to Saris. "What does that mean?" She didn't meet my eyes. "It means," she said softly, "that the accident was not an accident." The truth unraveled slowly. Saris began sharing fragments, never all at once, never without gauging my reaction. She explained that the coalition had been monitoring humanity closely for decades, not for aggression or expansion, but for something far more unsettling. Adaptation. Humans survived catastrophes that wiped out other species. We rebuilt after losses that should have ended us. We made irrational decisions and somehow turned them into victories. Statistically, humanity didn't make sense. We call it the divergence pattern, Saris explained one night. In simulations, humans consistently alter predicted outcomes. So we're unpredictable, I said. That's not exactly a crime. It is, she replied quietly, when inevitability is the foundation of galactic stability. The coalition governed through foresight, probability engines that calculated future conflicts and resolved them before they began. Entire civilizations were steered, subtly and quietly, away from outcomes deemed catastrophic. Free will, Saris said, is tolerated only when it behaves. And we don't, I guessed. No, she confirmed. You don't. My crash was part of a larger experiment. The coalition had identified a coming convergence, a future event where multiple probability streams collapsed into a single outcome. War on a galactic scale. Collapse of interstellar order. Humanity sat at the center of every simulation. So you tried to remove me? I said bitterly. Saris shook her head. Not remove. Test. The shuttle malfunction was deliberate. The crash location carefully chosen. My survival, or death, was meant to validate their models. If you died, she said, the simulations would stabilize. The future would proceed as predicted. And if I lived? Her voice dropped. Then the models were wrong. I stared at her. So, why save me? Her upper eyes softened. Because I have seen the future where you die. And it is worse. That was when Saris revealed her secret. The Kavari were not merely healers. They were custodians of memory, capable of retaining experiences across divergent timelines. Saris had lived through thousands of futures, watching the galaxy burn in different ways. In most of them, humanity was erased early, quietly, efficiently. In those futures, the galaxy survived, but it stagnated. Civilizations ceased innovation. Art disappeared. Entire species faded into cultural silence, content but empty. And in the futures where humanity survives, I asked. Saris smiled faintly. Chaos. Conflict. Loss. She paused. Also, growth. She had defied coalition protocol by intervening, by ensuring my survival, by subtly adjusting my treatment to awaken me faster, by delaying reports that would have resulted in my quiet termination. You planned my survival, I said. Yes. You orchestrated the accident. Yes. Anger surged through me. You almost killed me. Her gaze held mine unflinching. And yet you live. The middle phase of my recovery became something else entirely. Saris began teaching me, not technology, but perception. She explained how coalition systems nudged events, how probability engines influence decisions without ever issuing commands. You feel choice, she said, but often it is curated. I learned how to recognize those nudges, how to sense when an outcome felt too smooth, too inevitable. This, she said, is why humans terrify the coalition. You resist inevitability without even trying. The convergence drew closer. Coalition leadership debated drastic measures, sanctions, quarantines, preemptive strikes. I was summoned before them. Your continued existence destabilizes probability, the High Council declared. For galactic safety, you must be removed. Saris stood beside me. For galactic safety, she said calmly, you must accept uncertainty. Silence followed. Then something unprecedented happened. The probability engines failed. Not catastrophically, but subtly. Outcomes refused to converge. Predictions diverged faster than they could be calculated. Human unpredictability was spreading. The ending came quietly. I wasn't executed, nor exalted. Instead, the coalition made a concession. Humanity would no longer be modeled as a controllable variable. We would be allowed to exist freely,